Hey guys, this is Zachary Hart from Connected Camps, also known in-game as ZachSon825, here to teach you how to make your own game or mini-game in Minecraft. So, over the past few videos, we've been talking about how to design dungeons, how to defend objectives, through designing a base, like how to play Capture the Flag, and basically how to plan overall how you're gonna play your games that you play. So, using all of that, what you can do is you can use those skills to make your own minigame. And this is personally one of my favorite things to do in Minecraft, just coming up with all these games to play. So, this game that I made, it's tentatively called Snowball Fight, even though it's not really a snowball fight. Maybe it's like Snow Fort Defense. What I usually do when I start thinking of a game is, what do I want? What kind of game do you want it to be? In this case, it's kind of a PvP game, but the emphasis is not on killing each other. The emphasis is defending this button here. So each team will have a button that they need to guard, and if it's hit, it will launch fireworks signaling that the team has lost or scored a point. So, basically, there are two kinds of players in this minigame. There are the snowball throwers, which basically, they defend their button by throwing snowballs. So, snowballs in general don't actually do damage. They only do knockback. So, it could be a good way to push people back. And then you have your archers. Even though archers do damage, your team will lose that round if they end up killing somebody with the bow. Not if they hit someone, because it could happen on accident. So the goal is ultimately to set it up in a way so that you hit that button, and then you get that fireworks shot. So during planning, you're going to want to figure out a way to get people involved in building in some way. Personally, when I design minigames, I always have some sort of building aspect to it, because that's what Minecraft is all about. It's about building. So, what I will do when the game starts is I will start off with just this button and basically just this mechanism, and then give the teams some time to build their defenses. Then after the time limit is up, they can start sending their snowball throwers and their archers to try to get and hit the button, essentially. So when doing this, each team's archer is going to have to try to come over and find a clear shot to do this. So what you're going to want to do is use the environment to block the button, maybe force the archers to come through in a certain way. To come through a certain way, and then hit the button. Obviously, that's probably not that great of a defense. What you probably can do is set up traps that make it more difficult. For example, if you want, you can do the soul sand thing, like we've been talking about. We can make it so that this entry is just entirely soul sand, so it makes it much harder for people to walk through it. Or you can have it so that, I think right now I'm not going to have it so that there are limits to what buttons you can have. There has to be one for sure real button though, so you can have fake buttons up that trick people into hitting those buttons instead of the actual button. In this case though, the button is real regardless of where, because it's all on the same block. Basically in this game, the team needs to work together in order to get their archer to a position so that they can actually hit the button over there, while still defending their own button. Of course, the only real way to actually see if this game is good or not is to playtest it with other people. So, when you playtest it with other people, you may find out that there's something about the game that just doesn't work right. For example, maybe having only one button here is too hard. Like, you need to have 3 buttons so that it's a bigger target so that people can hit it. Maybe it relies too much on aim overall, so it makes it too difficult for new players to get involved in it. Another problem that you could run into is that maybe the snowball people just simply cannot defend their base because the inherent knockback of the snowball is not enough for them to defend their base with. You can find a way to balance this, perhaps by adding rules where, like, you can use water as a way to keep people from entering your base. I've run this challenge before where basically I have kids build throughout the day. They're trying to protect a villager within a house, so they can build their defenses during the day, while at night they didn't have any opportunity to build. They just had to defend their house against hordes of monsters. Originally, I did allow them to use water because I thought they were going to use it for crops, but what they ended up doing is they ended up using the water as a way to push all the mobs back, so it was never possible for the hostile mobs to even reach the villager. So eventually, I realized I had to ban water, or at least water buckets, so that they could only use the water that was given to them for crops. So the only real way to know if your game works or not is if you playtest it with actual people. That way you can gauge whether or not your game is fun, whether or not there are any problems with it, whether or not there are just inherent flaws. It could be that the game just doesn't work. There's going to be a lot of cases where you have an idea and it sounds good on paper, but when you actually do it, it just doesn't work. And that's fine. To get philosophical here, life isn't always full of success. A lot of games that you see today are often a product of lots and lots of failures. And I think understanding failure is probably the key to becoming a good game designer. It's just knowing what works and what doesn't work. And the only real way that you can figure out is if you design games and fail, essentially. Not to say that it's all doom and gloom. It's still super fun to have that game that you make, and it's super fun. So when designing a minigame, it's also important to take into account... When designing a minigame, it's important to take into account the terrain. How it will affect the gameplay, especially PvP kind of games. If you have, for example, if you have one team starting at the top of a mountain while you have another team starting at the bottom of that same mountain, but they have to do the same things, it's likely that the team at the top of the mountain is always going to win because they always have vision of what's going on down at the bottom. So usually I like having an even playing field. I couldn't actually find a super flat area to demonstrate this game. So that is why that there is a slight edge towards this team in terms of their space. Also, a flat area works just better for if you want to have them build something as part of the game. So that was a little demo of this little mini game that I have designed. The subject of playtesting actually is a very in-depth topic, so I think I probably will need to make a whole nother video just dedicated about playtesting and how to actually do it. But this video, I hope, provides a good idea of what goes into designing the dungeons. Definitely what I was trying to do was, I was trying to show what I usually do whenever I design certain challenges for Connected Camps events. I hope this video gives some good insight on how to design challenges, or how to build your own challenges within Minecraft. Use these skills to create your own challenges. And also, if I'm online on the server, let me know if you've created anything, because I definitely want to see it. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in learning more about Connected Camps Free Kid Club, then go to www.connectedcamps.com or click on any of the social media links on the screen right now.